Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something pretty important, building a firewall for your mind. In a world that's just flooded with information and most of it trying to influence you, having a defense system isn't just a nice idea, it's absolutely essential. So let's get right into it. So let me just start by asking you a really direct question. Is your mind being hacked? I know, it sounds a little dramatic, right? But honestly, in this age of constant social engineering, it's a question we really have to ask ourselves. I mean, every single day, we're just bombarded with attempts to shape what we think, how we feel, and ultimately, the decisions we make. Think about it like this. We all get how to protect our computers, right? We install antivirus software to block malware and viruses. But what are we doing to protect our minds? The threats are just as real, maybe even more sneaky. We're talking about calculated emotional manipulation, ideas that hijack our reason, and that huge unspoken pressure to just go along with the group. This is exactly where our mental firewall comes into play. And the solution, the fix, is this idea called intellectual sovereignty. It is quite literally a firewall for your mind. It's a defense system that you build, that you maintain, using the tools of reason and critical thinking to guard against all of these psychological attacks. Okay, so how does this mental firewall actually work? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of it and really see how it functions as your own personal, always-on defense against all that noise. Now, this is a really crucial point. We are not building a wall here. A wall just isolates you and you don't learn anything. What we're creating is much more sophisticated. It's a filter. It's designed to analyze all the information coming in, letting logic and actual evidence pass right through, while stopping those purely emotional pleas and the pressure to conform right at the gate. All right, let's get to programming this firewall. Like any good piece of security software, it needs a really clear set of rules to work right. And the most fundamental rule, is all about deciding what gets top priority. Facts don't care about your feelings. This right here, this is the core of our first rule. It's a real commitment to letting verifiable truth and hard evidence lead your thinking, no matter how you or anyone around you might feel about it. This becomes your firewall's prime directive. So what is this logic filter actually doing? Well, it's actively putting reason ahead of reaction. It's building a really strong barrier against emotional manipulation. And it operates on a foundation of objective truth, valuing precise logical debate over those vague, emotionally charged arguments that are really just designed to shut down your thinking. And when you look at it this way, the difference in the outcomes is just stark. With that logic filter running, your conclusions are grounded, they're consistent, they're objective. But without it, your decisions can become volatile and subjective, easily swayed by whatever the next outrage or emotional wave happens to be. Okay, on to our second core rule. Now, this one is really for those of you who've always felt that pull to stand apart, who aren't really driven by that deep need for the group's approval. This is all about strengthening your independence from the intense pressure of the herd mentality. This is all about agency. It's the belief that you are the main driver in your own life, through your own choices and your own character. That mindset is an incredibly powerful defense against any story that tries to paint you as just a passive victim, a cog in a machine or just another face in the crowd. So think of these as the protocols that enforce your independence. Your firewall learns to reject groupthink, focusing instead on individual merit. It prioritizes self-improvement over grievance. And, so importantly, it values and protects free speech, because that's the essential tool we all need to challenge those dominant and often flawed group narratives. And this really gets to the heart of it all. Are you an individual, judged by your own actions and your own abilities because that path fosters real agency and personal responsibility, or are you operating mainly as a member of a collective, where your identity is just based on a group affiliation? That is the path to a herd mentality. Okay, so let's put this all together. What's the actual result of installing these rules and turning on your mental firewall? What does it actually feel like to become intellectually sovereign? It really boils down to these three simple actions. First, install that logic filter. Make the commitment to put truth above feelings. Second, center the individual. Reject the herd and own your own agency. And third, own your freedom by taking full responsibility for your own thoughts and your own conclusions. And the big takeaway here is that intellectual sovereignty isn't just some defensive shield. It's a key. It's what unlocks genuine personal freedom. It's the ultimate tool for reclaiming your own agency, to think for yourself in a world that is constantly, desperately trying to do your thinking for you. And with that, we're done. Your firewall is on, the filters are active, and your mind is your own. So we'll just leave you with this one final question to think about. Now that you have it, what are you going to do with your intellectual freedom? Thanks for watching.